Welcome back to the stream, people. Tuesday morning. Had a day off yesterday. Kids were off school, so spent the time with the family, baking and eating. So wasn't really the right ideal settings for trading. So I decided to take the day off instead. But I'm back here Tuesday morning. It is the 9th of December. So I'm going to quickly, this is my first time looking at the chart since Friday. So I'm just going to quickly recap what's going on Friday. There is a trade opportunity here, but I'm not in a rush to get into anything at all. And I'll explain to you why, mainly because of this Friday. So Friday, if you were watching the stream, I was here. I was selling this with the breaker structure. I sold it. I said there's potentially a reaction based on the daily highs here. Yeah. So I got out. It seemed early because I said it's ranging. This is the top of the range. It should go to midpoint here at least, top of the range, bottom of the range down here should hit the midpoint here. So that's where I thought price was going to go. But I got out because I thought I would get a reaction from here. And as you see, I got a reaction. Stop loss was there, would have got taken out before price went to the midpoint. And as you see, hit the midpoint and reacted to it. So that was quite accurate, the midpoint. So the trade was, it played out exactly as I expected it would, but not when I expected it would. So reality of trading again, doesn't matter about the read, you could be right, but this can happen a lot. It's by design, it's to get people out before going to where it actually wants to go in terms of price. So that's by design. So I'm not surprised at all. So that's why I scalp a lot of moves, especially in consolidating market. If it's a strong trending market, yeah, you could hold positions. I spotted that mainly this year based on gold, you could just hold a position and let it go. But I think it was Friday again, I mentioned that this is consolidating, this isn't going anywhere. So you should really be scalping it. So where are we now? This is top of the range, this is bottom range. As you see, prices at the bottom range. I should be buying this. Support and resistance crew, you're looking at this as a strong point to be buying, and you're probably just buying aggressively there. Strong argument to do so, as price is just sticking around, it's not really going anywhere, there's no real direction. So strong argument to do that. I'm gonna consider it. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna take it. I was waiting for something, and I think that may be presenting itself now. Let's wait. We are 8 minutes before the London session. So if you've been following, this is my entry. You would have seen this is my entry. This is what I'll be looking for. So at the bottom of the range, had a little trend and it's broke it. Monday, glad I didn't trade yesterday. Look at this consolidation, but that's obvious to see. Price wasn't actually moving. That's consolidating. Here it was moving, but I don't think I would have been trading around this session. So yeah, New York session. So didn't miss nothing yesterday. Consolidated across here. This is a flag. It pulls down, hits the bottom of the range. You would assume it continues its current H1 trend here, but it's breaking that structure. So you should, well, I will be buying it if I'm doing anything. Stop loss underneath here and try to get back up here. Maybe it goes back towards the consolidating period on Monday. It is at the bottom of the range. It is what I should do, but all these equal lows, it's very easy for price to run it. But I will take it, and I'm going to just use a lot less size than I would normally use. And I may even use a negative risk to reward ratio, given it space. So I'm going to enter here, going to buy it. Even though I said I was going to wait, there is no other entry point. This is what I look for in terms of structure to enter. There is no waiting to see if it breaks through there, because it may not. It may just stick around there and consolidate throughout the rest of the year. So this has to be my entry point. So I'm just going to put some small size, give it some space, and see if it pulls back into the middle, and that'll be the scalp. If it is ranging like I suspect, it could come back to the midpoint again. So let's just find that midpoint. I'm going to use a fib tool this time and get that midpoint accurate, and then just base it off that. Maybe I could just trade this consolidation for the rest of the year. That'll be actually not a bad thing. I spotted where it is, and I'm trading it appropriately. So maybe that's the plan. So get this midpoint, get rid of this fib now. Delete. Oh, there we go. At last. Didn't want to go. All right. I'm going to change the color so I remember why I've got that here. It'd be great if I could just buy from the bottom every time it gets down there and sell from the top every time it gets above there. That'd be ideal. Very easy way to trade consolidating market. Get a nice neutral color. This will do. Okay. So bottom of the range, broken structure, bought it. It could go against me. I'm just going to give it some space to allow it to do so in terms of stop loss. Has to be an amount that I'm willing to lose. Really, it should be done here, but that's 0.5. Could have it here, 0.4. Should have it here, really. Yeah, it should have it there, and that's 0.25. I'll have it there. That's my swing low. It could easily take this in the next H1, that's fine. And I will just take that loss. I'm not going to sell at the bottom of the range to try to get further. It may just do what happened on Friday here, just run the top, running this, then go back down. So it may just run this low, then go back down. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens now. So in terms of today's trend, sold here, small, tight M5 trend, got to bottom here, pushes up into supply here, sold, didn't go, come back up here. So it's got a little M5 trend on, yeah, buying up. And from here, you'd expect it to be bought, but it's sold again. Argument is to get back into this imbalance, that's fine. Pushes back up, it could be sold from here. And if it gets underneath here, then maybe it hits my stop loss, but small loss. If it does do that, I'm gonna watch it and see. I'd love my stop loss to be here, just 0.2, that's ideal. But I'm gonna leave it here at the swing low where it's supposed to be and make a decision later whether I want to sell this for it to get that drive. I could sell it just to get that drive, put some size, and that little drive will be enough. Even though it may not go anywhere, that little drive, like what happened on Friday here, my swing low, my swing point was there. When it broke it, that move enough, it went a lot further, would be enough to get everything I lost. So I may do that here, and that'll be the cheat code to trade in this if it loses. Because from this point, if it does break this, I don't see why it doesn't break that. And that's, I don't know how many points, maybe 3 or 4 points. Some size on it, that's $400. About 6 points. So even if I take this loss, to sell it just to drive here and make what I lost back. So I'm fine with the trade, fine with the entry. Let's see how it plays out. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to just trade the consolidation. I'm buying from the bottom of the range and see if it pushes back up. If it does push up, I may be inclined to hold it a little bit. We'll see. I would love to get it to midpoint, but as you see, sometimes it just doesn't go when you want it to go. So I may just scalp it and keep the trader session short. 1 minute before London session starts. And yeah, ready to go. Good start. If it breaks this H1 high, that's a good indication that it wants to continue going up. Could add there, but I'm not going to do so. I want to keep my risk low this period. Okay, so that's a good start. So yeah, let's see now. Keep an eye on my exit. 0.2 would be good. I think, see where that, what that would be. That would be just here, back at the top of the range. I don't think I'm gonna get that easily. That'd be just too convenient. If I had some size on this, I wouldn't need so much, I guess, to be satisfied. But at the same time, I do need to manage my risk and consider the fact that we are in consolidation. I shouldn't be putting too much size on regardless. So just going to be patient, no profit target in mind. I'm just going to trade and be ready to take a loss. See what silver's saying. Okay, so silver's doing the same thing. Okay, well, silver's not at the bottom of the range, it's midpoint and it's pushing from there. Very tight range. Okay, so maybe silver's leading the pack. So you had the equal highs here. I can see why silver came up here to run those equal highs. Hit the midpoint here, consolidated yesterday, hit midpoint again, and it's driving up from there. So maybe it's bullish from this point, maybe. But I'll still be inclined to believe it's consolidating and it should go down. So if it does go down, that could be an indication what gold is doing. But seeing as gold is at the bottom of the range, it's got more upside than downside. So maybe they both go up. And if silver does go up, get to the top of the range and indicates that gold's going to do that, that means I should have a very decent trade. But this is so far off range, it needs to get midpoint quite quickly to catch up. So that's the thing. They do move in unison at times, but they are weighted differently. Whereas gold has reached the bottom of its consolidation range, silver just hit the midpoint. So you can't always assume it's moving at the same time. But yeah, regardless, price action, little trend, broker structure. I'm in for the buy, bottom of the range. I would not feel comfortable buying down here, but like I said a few times, I do believe this is consolidation. Happens a lot around this time of the year. So I'm gonna have a look at GU and the other currencies. See, yep, again tight range. Looks like it's trending down. Created a high here, lower high, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. Looks like it's trending down on the daily. But as you can see, really it's not moving, is it? This could be a pole. This is a slow flag down here. If it takes that daily high, then I'll be inclined to believe it's going back to the top of this range. If not, trying to break it through. But yeah, there's not much joy in trading this right now. This is like not going anywhere. Not the place to be, GU. At least there was some movement on UC. Swiss should indicate there was movement on EU. Okay, better movement on EU than GU. Trending down currently. Just maintaining this. No, just it actually broke its previous daily trend here. But you could argue that this is a reversal. Left shoulder here, head here, right shoulder. So head and shoulders reversal. Was trending up previously, creating higher daily lows. And yep, higher daily lows. There you go. Higher daily low, all the way up. Got to the top. And now it's creating lower daily lows. So it's been bearish at this point. Just clean this up a bit. I do believe it's still in supply, which would make sense. Okay. Main supply zone, I guess, here. Top of the range is here. So poles here, flags here, poles, flags up again, poles. Should really break this low and should not get above here, go above there. So this should indicate a breaking structure and should be bullish to try to go up again to break this high here. But right now it's trending down. So does it come back down to these lows? Don't know really. But if you just look at this is the top of the range, isn't it? Got here a few times, sold. So it's at the top of the range and it's broken structure. So if you look at it here, it had a trend going up, higher daily lows. It broke the structure here, came down, started trending down. Same thing here. When it broke the structure for the daily lows, started coming down. So it's come up here, broke structure for the daily lows now, and it should continue coming down. So zooming out, it's easier to read it. That's a better way to predict what you think price is going to do. So looking at this, even though it's not clean, you can see a pattern forming. It's at the top of the range. It has created what looks like a head and shoulders reversal there. Same thing there, same things there, and it's now trending down. So arguably, bottom of the range maybe. Could say down here. Safe thing to do would be midpoint. So top of the range, bottom of the range, 50%, maybe there. if it maintains the trend. I will not be getting active in currencies for this period of the year. I'm just going to stay away from it. I like the movement in gold, a lot easier to read, very clean. So avoid currencies and just trade gold. Clearly at the bottom of the range, broken structure. Yeah. Easier thing to do. So this is just the start of a new trend. Let's see if it maintains and it holds. If it does, that should be TP. Big imbalance. Need to check that out. Can see price coming back here. 4234. Let's see if it's, yeah, inefficiency. Look at that. So the way I look at this is unfulfilled orders. When price just drops like this, it tends to come back. I might at this point where it broke the structure and dropped, it tends to come back to this point. I think it was the first 2 years, I used to just sell this. I think I mentioned in the last video, there's a setup I used to do. This was it. When I see a big imbalance like this, I'll set a pending order here for when price to come back here, tag it, and I'll be selling it. So I could use this as a target now. This doesn't happen so often now. That's why I don't trade it anymore. But I could use it as a target where I would like price to get back up to. I should do it for old time's sake kind of thing. Hold it to get back up there. Maybe I'll leave a runner to see if it does get back up there. So normally pulls back up there to be sold again. So I'm going to use it as a target to get back. That could be interesting. Makes this a very, very nice trade. So I should get midpoint then. And maybe there's more in it. I'll take partial somewhere here where I'm satisfied and leave the runner. And today's Tuesday, right? Got the whole week, nothing to do. So yeah, I think I could hold it there. There is no pressure on me right now. Self-imposed pressure, that is. I have no profit objective. I'm just really practicing. Developing my skills. Okay, should add somewhere. Could add aggressively here. No, I will not add there. If I get a pullback, I should add, but we'll see. Could reduce my risk as well. I'm just going to reduce it a little bit. I could have it under this current H1 low. That's too early to do that. Could have it under the previous H1 low, making it 0.1% risk. I'm just going to leave it at 0.2. I'm just going to be petty, get 0.2, give it space for it to come back. The swing low is the best place, really. So why am I moving it? For $50. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it alone. Should really only move it when you close a TP or you take some size off. I'm gonna leave it alone. Quickly check news. Okay. Major news from US in New York session, jobs openings. I would not be around for that. Hopefully I'll be out as soon as possible. Anytime there's major news, I want to get out. I just assume the market would try to take that into consideration. So it may stall, it may not give me any decent move. And it'll wait onto that news catalyst before it gives us some decent price action. Hopefully that's not the case today. I do get a win in this session. All right. Looks like a slow burner today. It's only about 5 points or so from where I want it to be. 41.91. I think I will add to it. I'm gonna add here. About 5. So about 0.7 risk now. It means if I do get this push up, I could look for a quicker exit. Okay. 41.76. So I'm going to set my alerts. Therefore, I could be a bit more patient with this and let it play out. And scale out when it makes sense, rather than being based on impatience. Mm-hmm. 41.91. May scale out around 41.91. Instead of trying to run the high, scale out around here, sun size. If it gets up there. Okay. I think with the size I got, if I just get a decent drive here, that'll be enough really. Scale out, reduce my risk and leave the rest. It's moving quite well. Well, it's moving, it's not moving faster. This is where you could expect some pullback from where it broke out this low and it sold from. It's back up there. This is where you would expect it to be sold from again. It may come down here, hold and push up again. Or it may not do that at all because it's got this little trend on M1 going on right now. So really pull back here, pushed up, pull back here. So hopefully it just continues. It may pull back to the top of here again, then push up. It should, if it continues, it should get here. And that's where I'll be exiting some size. Yo, what's up? Um, Same intentions in what sense? You buying it as well? Guessing you're buying it, and you got what for 177. A lot better entry than me. For 177. Wow. So I'm guessing you bought it because you thought it was at the bottom of the range because I can't see anything in price indicating that entry other than what maybe this candle here. What gave you the indication to get into the market? I was looking at structure, bottom of the range, it broke structure. So I thought, yeah, okay. Okay, so here, right? Pulled there, fair gap, pushed up, come back in there. Yeah, makes sense. It's funny that it's like, like a piece of art that we all can have a look at it and see different things. That's how I see the market. Everyone has different strategy in terms of supply, demand, um, smart money concepts, support and resistance. But it could be read and interpreted or indicate something that we all see, but just read in a different way and in the wrong way as well. But you get the point. We all see different things when we look at this. I always found that interesting about trading. Maybe that's what drew me to it. I have a art background and just look at this as that this is quite visually pleasant to me at least. Yeah, cool. And you're trying to hold it to 4256. Wow. I'm guessing just to run the high then. Yeah, that's for 256. Yeah. Be careful with that. Be careful with that. At least take some partials. Actually, let me not advise you, but be careful with that. Consider it could be ranging and it may not go past there. Breaking highs is difficult. Okay. I like your conviction. I'm more cautious in my approach. I have to be. I've been like, look, so many examples here. I was selling it the other day on Friday. I wanted it down to midpoint. I said it could go bottom of the range, but it stopped me up before it did so. So I can't ignore that. I see that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna scalp it where it makes sense. Here for me, if it holds and takes this daily high, it should go midpoint. But this main imbalance here, I see price filling this. I see the reaction from there. Maybe that's a place to sell from even. So that's what I'm trying to aim for there. I'm not gonna hold it to there though. I'm gonna take partials around here, leave a run and move to break even. So if I do lose the trade, it's I still won something. I said it in my video the other day. Sometimes I lose a trade but still end up winning. And it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but this is an example. I lost the trade here because my stop loss would have been here, but I won because I exited early. So I was right in the move, but the market, that's how it plays. So I need to adapt to that. Okay. Okay. Fair point. It makes sense. But how long do you think it will take to get there? I'm saying maybe a week. If it is to run this, does it run it before Christmas? Okay, well, you got a very good entry. You could definitely get a decent win from this. What are you trading? Are you trading personal funds or are you trading a pot firm? I just need this to start moving. Okay. Good thing with personal funds, you could be a bit more patient, take some drawdown if you need to, don't you? I need to be a little bit more tight risk management with this funded account. Well, so I'm assuming you mean FTMO is now available in the country you're based and it wasn't previously? Yeah. I mean, there's issues with funded accounts, but if you get a funded account that actually do pay out, it's great. If you know how to trade, it's a really great way to leverage up. So this is a funded account. They're saying every time I withdraw money, instead of losing that money from my balance, they'll put the same amount I withdraw back into the account. So it makes sense for me to do this than just my personal funds. And also it costs a lot less for me to risk like $400 versus 20,000 of my personal funds to be able to do the same thing. So risking $400, already got the funded account. So far it's decent return, almost 1% up on this account. If I get to, when I get to 2% next year, I can make a withdrawal and I made my money back. So it's a decent way to operate, assuming the company pays out and they don't try to find interesting ways to get you out of your bag. Let's see what's going on, silver. Okay, so still holding the structure. It's being bit gold. Trend is still being maintained. Potential entry there with this little breaker structure. Assuming people are buying this anyway. Continue this trend. Hope it just goes clean and it doesn't come to run people out there and run people out here. Just continue pushing up. That would be good. And then I would exit some size if I get another drive up. Trailing this, stop loss underneath there maybe. But I'll use the H1. For 190. For 186. Yeah. Potential entry there. Guessing you're talking about this then. That's where I'll be looking to exit some size anyway. That's what I'm looking at. If it gets up there, exit some size, I could see a reason or argument for it to be sold around here. I'm not going to try to run the high. Gets up here, exit some size, and then I could just leave my runner to see if it wants to get all the way back to the top. Very cautious approach I'm taking. and it's been serving me well, so I'm going to continue trading that way. I don't like holding moves unless the market's actually trending, and right now this is a consolidating market. Yeah. All right, cool. I see what you're saying. It makes sense. You call this a fair value gap. I call this imbalance, inefficiency. It is a gap, so I can see why you call it that. But yeah, flag down, so pull down, flagged up, pulls out. It then come back to tag it in. That's your FVG, I guess. Just need to get there. 19 minutes left for this H1 candle. Ideally, I would want to exit before this H1 candle closes. The next one could just send it back down. And therefore means longer day, longer traded session, maybe consolidation like yesterday. So that's why I would be happy to take something off around there, so I don't have to hold for the back and forth. So let's see if we could get that 4190 within the next 20 minutes. Yeah. It's tends to be slow around this time of the year. In London session, New York session is usually what's needed. And there is a news catalyst due today. So maybe it's just going to stall and wait for that, come back down before going up again. Let's see what's going on across the board. GU's finally moving bullish currently. EU's not moving. Same thing, right place to be is gold. Happens every time I step away. So I don't need to take it early, but it's just my discipline to take something where I can. So I'm going to see now what makes sense. I may exit one of my positions here. Yeah, I mean, you zoom out, you look at market structure. Yeah, it looks like it's going to continue. That's what I'm saying. Bottom of the range, had a little reversal, goes up, run today's current high, aim for yesterday's high based on consolidation. You got this massive inefficiency here. That's where I would expect price to get to. But it's just a question of when will it get there and what's going to happen if it does come back. Then you got the news catalyst later. Anything could happen with that. So I need to exit where I'm satisfied. And that's the way I've been trading. These last few months has really helped. I did some calculations. In the last few months, I've been streaming non-stop. I've made more than 40%, passing a few evaluations and prop firm challenges and stuff like that. I've made more than 40% just from, being cautious and scalping where it makes sense. So I'm going to continue doing that. And I'll probably exit one position soon. I would just like a big drive here now, and then I could do so. I don't need to wait for that. Still a bit early. Maybe I'll do it before the next H1 candle, before this one closes. So I think I'm going to exit this initial position. Okay with that. And then leave the rest. So now at least I know I've bagged something for the day and I've reduced my risk in terms of my loss. If I lose this trade, I'm going to put this at 0.2 now. So if I do lose this trade somehow, I've only lost 0.1 today. So now I'm happy to leave it alone for now. Midpoint would be good. Top of the range would be great. Yeah, definitely let me know when you're trading. I'll be here more or less London session all the time, unless we're talking about Christmas or busy periods, family periods. But more or less, I'll be here. It's my routine now. So yeah. Okay, so just got the alert saying gold is where I wanted it to be. So I've already exited my position, so I'm okay with that. 10 minutes left. Expected this pullback. Initially, I would have wanted 0.3 for today. Got that already. But this is looking very good for a continuation so far. Don't need to do anything. Current H1 low. Now I did say I wanted to exit before the next hour, and I did say once we get this push out, should exit. I can see price coming back underneath here. Don't want it to. I can see that for people who are now trading with this trend, stop losses are underneath here. Entry was there, stop loss underneath there. You see price tagging all the way back here, hopefully holding, then going back up. That's the current H1 low. Previous one is the main one to keep eye on currently, which should be here. Don't want to see price underneath there. Could move my stop loss there. Yep. Should leave that swing low. But if it is trending up, it should respect this low and continue. And if it does break this low, maybe it wants to go further. So I'm okay with my stop loss now there. Worst case scenario, lose $44. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. 1% up on this account. Can't remember, was it last week, Wednesday I got this funded account? Don't know, Wednesday, Thursday? 1% up. Haven't really been trying in terms of using too much size. Guessing you're using a lot more size than I'm using today. If you're up $500, probably using what, 0.4, 0.5. Yeah, and that's your personal account, isn't it? But yes, I mean, if you get what you're after, what does that look like for you? That's about $200 or $300. No, $2,000 or $3,000, right? I guess I could see the temptation to hold it. But yeah, that would be look. So I normally try not to give people advice, but I will give you this advice. I'll say this: if that's your personal funds, yeah, and you are up a certain amount, which is a decent amount of money that you could actually use, forget about making the trade perfect. You don't need to be 100% right on the trade to make money. You could be 30% right and make a decent amount of return on that trade. Forget about perfection. We are so obsessed. I think a lot of us obsessed with getting that really good trade so we could essentially brag a bit or feel right. I do it a lot as well. Like, you know, I read that trade beautifully. I knew I was going to do this. It makes you feel good and all that. But you can make money from being wrong. So it's better just to take what you are happy with and get the market. The market's designed to beat you. It's like going to a casino. You could bet big on something and win and say how great you were. But you stick around long enough, you're going to find out. The market is designed to beat you. So if that's your personal funds and you're happy with $500, take $500. If you need to prove that you were right about the trade, leave a runner. Yes, you stand to make more, but I think one of the hardest things for me anyway is if I was up like $2,000 and I was waiting for that extra $1,000 price point and it came all the way back and lost, nothing but regret. But if I took, I don't know, 1.5 and left the rest and I got another $500 or another $1,000, I'd be happy. It's happy days regardless. Yes, I missed out $500, but I still made 2.5. So something to consider. It doesn't need to be a perfect trade. It doesn't need to go all the way to TP for you to be right. For example, if you watch at the beginning of the stream, I said, this is normally my entry. I should get in here, but I said, let me wait. Did the calculations, considered the risk. I thought, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. I got in. So far, I'm right. And I'm taking the money. I'm right here. I've taken $100. It doesn't need to be $1,000 for me to be right. I'm right here. So I'm satisfied that I was right about the move here. And I made something from it. I don't need to be right all the time, all the way up here to be satisfied from the move. So that being said, should exit here, but won't, not yet. Early days, I still got, I want to see how the next H1 candle plays out. I want to try get the, 1 second. Yeah, so as I was saying, I want to see how the next H1 plays out. See if we could get above there. Definitely exit some more size above this high. I prefer to do it here, but to get there, that could be another 2-3 hours. I'm not going to be streaming for that long. I don't want to be trading for that long either. So exit the size where I'm happy, and then leave the runner. And my runner is something that I don't need to look at. So I'm gonna see. Okay. New H1. So was that you lost 60K in gambling or in trading? Or trading like you are gambling? Yeah, you're gonna have to leave the past in the past. If you consider how much money you've lost, every single trade you're gonna try to make that money back. And there's no way you're gonna make 60K back in one trade. I would definitely focus on learning how to trade. Consider why you lost that money, probably the size of money you were using. So I would stop all of that and focus on consistency. Are you able to make profits consistently through a month? Cool, you can. 5 months. Cool, you can. 6 months. Sorry, not 6 months, 12 months. Okay, so through the year, you were able to make consistent profits. Add it all up, maybe you made 4K. That's cool. Now you know the strategy to make 4K. All you need to do is just then double the size. 4K becomes 8K. You did it consistently, cool. Then double the size again. And then you are gradually chipping back at what you lost. But the main thing is you now learned the skill that's going to be able to make you a decent amount of money. And I'll focus on that rather than the whole, okay, I lost this amount of money, I need to get it back as soon as possible, because that's going to get you back to gambling. Every single trade needs to work out, every single trade needs to be big, and then you're going to get frustrated, so frustrated. There's a trade, I said this a few times, trade example, yes, on Friday, I was right that it was going down. I was selling it from here, but it went up before it went down. You don't want to be in that situation, because this will happen to you and you're just going to get frustrated. You've got to start slamming laptops and throwing phones and everything. So focus on learning the skill that's going to be able to make you money rather than trying to make money on every single trade. Like example right here, I don't know how many points this is. I don't really care too much how much money this is. If I wanted to use a lot of size, I would make maybe 10 times what I have today. But I'm very satisfied with the move. I'm going to be exiting some size soon. I'm going to leave the runner because I don't need to be completely right to make some money. That being said, time to exit. Now I'm going to take it there because I don't need to run the high. Okay, so taking partials here. I said I will do so when it gets towards this high. I expect it to get to midpoint. Does it mean it's going to get there within the session? Not necessarily. It could wait until New York session to do so. I expect it to get midpoint, and what I would like is it to get all the way back to the top of the range because it's consolidating. And this is a big inefficiency where I expect price to get to. Problem is, I do not know when that's going to happen. So I'm going to exit where I can, trade daily, routinely, and just bag the wins. So 0.2 today. Reduce my risk. Risk is $36 to potentially make another, what's that, $250. So not a bad return. And now I could afford to forget this completely. So very decent trade, as you can see, it's played out really nicely. Let's get in some volume now. But it may just get to that midpoint and come back. So I'm guessing you are actually, if you're still holding this, you are at least, if you were 500 up, you should be about $1,000 up now, no? On your personal funds. Not a bad return. Yeah, I've never said anything about this being my personal funds, so I'm not really worried about that. It clearly says it's a funded account, and if people say it's a demo account, this is fake. It's ignorance. It's a funded account from E8. I got my dashboard. I got my trade history. I've been trading with funded accounts for a while. I got trade history. Trade history. So it clearly says, look, paper trading, it is a E8 funded account based on paper trading, same as FTMO and most funded accounts. Paper trading. End of the day, do I get money from it? Yes. So if they feel it's fraudulent, okay, that's on them. I'm not bothered at all. I would still make my payouts, get my payouts, still continue trading. So yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm not too bothered about what people think. I know what I'm doing. I know that. I know the climate, if you like, on YouTube. I know most traders who trade on YouTube are not trading raw accounts or funded accounts. It's just demo accounts. I know they don't make money from trading. I know a lot of what they do is just to sell courses. I know all that. I don't care for none of that. All of that is toxic. I'm moving away from that, and I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing, which is learning a skill that I could actually make money from. Missing out on this trade. Anyway, learning a skill I could actually make money from. And as you can see, my reads is the main thing. Is this read wrong? Is this not live? If you saw, I got in from the bottom. It's all live. It's not pre-recorded. And I got to read right. So if I could read the market consistently, if you've been watching the streams, and get the reads right, why wouldn't I use real money? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, for all the naysayers, I don't get too many naysayers here. I think most people can see what I'm doing here is authentic. I don't get too many people doubting that I am actually trading live. This isn't pre-recorded. I don't think most people show you the trade history that dates back since they started the stream. So yeah, I'm comfortable where I am. Nothing to prove. Yeah, exactly. I'm just focusing on me. Oh, how do I know it's the funded account? There's no way of knowing it's the funded account. It's no way of knowing. You can only trust what they say. So E8, they haven't claimed this is a funded account. So there's no lie already. They said there's an evaluation, which is step one. Then you become an E8 trader on a simulated account, which is what this is. So they haven't lied about anything. So they don't claim it's a funded account. They say it's an E8 account where you can make withdrawals. I got the EA account, and they confirmed all my billing address and stuff like that. So they can make me payouts, and they told me the minimum withdrawal amount is 2%. So the only way of knowing if they're going to stick to what they say that they're going to do is when I get to that stage and I make the request. So even with the previous company I was with, they claimed it's a funded account, but there's no real way of knowing if it's a live account or not, because all of this information here could be edited. This is what I learned through my research on scammers. All of it could be edited, so there's no real way of knowing. Will they pay you when they say they will? That's the real question. So far, we're gonna find out. We're doing well on this account. We're gonna, once I get to 2%, I could find out. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to take the company based on what they're saying. In terms of me personally, it doesn't bother me. Even if I find out that they don't pay out, I'm still learning the skill. This is what I want you guys to remember. Like, I'm still learning a skill that can make me money. And I have the funds to start my own personal account and have 100K capital to be able to trade. So I could start next year. I could start today. I could do all this live with my personal funds. I'm doing it with prop firms until I could consistently prove I could do this for a long period of time before I use all my personal funds. That's my plan. Learning the skill consistently. I've been learning it for a while. Just want to find more consistency to be able to use a lot of my personal funds. And then in terms of prop world environment, in terms of YouTube naysayers and all this, that's on them. Doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I don't personally believe that most of the popular funded firms that we know actually use raw capital. It's just a bit risky to give complete amateurs access to your money based on an evaluation they may have passed by luck. And I've watched a few videos about these prop firms being exposed that used to say that they were raw prop firms, and then we found out that they were not, and they disappeared. A lot of them just gone bankrupt and they disappeared once they've been exposed. So that does happen as well. So you got new prop firms coming out and saying, do you know what? Let's just be transparent, and people are going to still sign up. FDMO, I think they're very transparent. They clearly said that this isn't a funded account. This is stimulated funds. E8, transparent as well. So it's fine. Doesn't mean it's safe though, because you still got some people, a lot of these influencers who've gone into doing prop firms, and where they've made things worse is they are not paying out. They're really finding ways to get people's money, saying you violated rules and stuff like that, and they refuse to pay out and blocking people instead. So that's my only concern with this environment. If I spend a month trying to build up an account, make a profit withdrawal, and they say no for whatever reasons, and that's what happened to me the last time. They started asking weird questions and they were just delaying. I stopped trading, waited, got my money, then they banned me. So it's just weird behavior. And that's what I expect with all of them, because their whole business model is to make money from people losing. And if you're not losing, it's not ideal for them. So my main thing is, do they pay out or not? I had one claim, someone said that E8 doesn't pay out. I did ask him questions, he didn't get back to me. So I don't know if that's a reliable source of information yet. If you are watching this, I'm waiting for the response. If that was your experience, let me know what happened. Yeah, reputation is important to most of these prop firms. Very bullish today, isn't it? So it looks like it's aiming for previous daily highs. It's hit midpoint. So again, very good read. could add aggressively, but I expect it from midpoint to have a reaction. Should exit here. Haven't got much money on the table. Let's see where silver is. Silver's at top of the range. Should exit size here. Should exit completely here. So from here, I expect it to come back down. Maybe consolidate, New York session, push for the top. It's only 200. I'm going to exit here. Reason being, midpoint, I expect it to come back down. It could hold and go back to the top. I expect it to get back to the top at some point. I just don't know when that is. And taking a previous daily high, it's not going to do that straight away. It's going to maybe a longer period of time. It could do it straight away, but it may not. And I'm not trying to trade all day. Okay, so I am satisfied to exit there. Very decent trade. Sure, maybe my 0.3, yeah, 0.4 today. So I'm very happy. Got a build buffer from the $1,000, so I could risk that tomorrow and then gradually build the account to $2,000. I did say by the end of January, so only got $700 left to do. I'm really in a good place, people, and that's where I want to be. I don't want to rush anything. There is no profit target. I don't want to be influenced, to be greedy or anything like that. I'm just going to be cautious, take trades based on what I can see, exit where it makes sense to, and just continue. And I know if I could do this consistently, then I could scale up anytime I want. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there. Very happy with this trade. Very nice trade. Played out really well. I do expect price to get to this point here. And my satisfaction, or to prove me right, it could get there. And I don't need to be in the trade to get there. And I've already made money for the trade. I don't need to be in the trade to get there, but I do believe it gets there. So I'm very happy with the trade. We'll see how it plays out. If it gets there straight away, if it plays around, if it comes back, if it hits my break even. Let's see where break even should have been based on my entry. Actually, that doesn't matter. You know what, where I got in. If it comes back, it comes back. So be it. I'm going to call it. And I will be back here tomorrow, same place, same time. Trading again, looking for another good example, another good trade, another opportunity to practice and learn. This is Patrick signing out. Until next time, peace.